podcast.
Episode 3, the JustSayan podcast. We've got Jovan Glasgow with us today. Jovan, you don't need an introduction, man. Man, thank you for joining us today. Happy to have you on the show. Would you mind sharing a little bit about you to the world? Who Jovan is, what you do.
I got to start by saying I'm excited to be here. This is just going to be like a couch moment that I get to share with not only men I highly respect, but brothers, and I think this is going to be a really good conversation. So I was excited for it. Jovan Glasgow is the name. I got way too many titles probably to walk through, but if I can encapsulate really what I do is I just help people to truly align and perform at their highest level. It's been a passion of mine for years. I don't know if I necessarily chose it initially, which I'll share more of my story as we get into it, but really in the space of helping people to become the greatest version of themselves and to live a fulfilled life. And that's my mission.
Yeah. That's and you live by it, man. And Jovan, you and I have met each other, dude, going on 2 years now, probably, give or take, somewhere around there. And you know, time flies, obviously, but man, it was one of those things where we met and just there was something there, right? Yeah. And then it was weird, dude. It was crazy. We had a couple conversations after we met, and then randomly, like, I'd get a call from Jovan, or I'd call Jovan, and it was like, hey, I was literally about to call you. Yeah. And then we would start running into each other just randomly at a coffee shop,
crazy,
at the airport.
Yeah. Just
randomly, dude.
Is it fate or is it destiny?
Well, I think it's about time that I shared the truth. I bugged him.
Yeah.
I had something installed on his vehicle, so I pretty much knew where he was going to be, when he was going to be there. And it was just always intentional. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, no, I didn't bug you.
There's about 3 places he can be. It's here, at home, or at the gym. So
yeah, it's pretty easy to find me for sure.
Not too tough.
But yeah, and we've developed not only just a personal friendship, professional friendship too, and it's been great. And but yes, you do help people. You bring out the best in people. You bring out the best in organizations, right? That's what you do. And I think it's important to distinguish, or maybe you can speak to this a little bit more, because when I first met you, it was like, okay, Jovan, I saw your videos, which, you've got them on YouTube of some of your work, but you're more than a motivational speaker, right? Yeah. And that's what I thought, when I first met you. Yeah. And you're an absolutely powerful speaker, but there's a difference in what you do, right?
Yeah. Man, that's been one of the hardest things in my life, is to try to define myself by a title. Mm-hmm. Because I think the title only came by way of validating in the marketplace what people could, to some degree, assimilate me with based on what they felt from me. But I still struggle with the title. Because if I was to encapsulate really why I do what I do more than who I am, is really an influencer of change, right? And so whether that's happening on the individual level, on the organizational level, that's really the best way to encapsulate who Jovan Glasgow is in essence.
Yeah.
That's matriculated as I grow, as a man, as I grow as an entrepreneur, as a visionary. Mm-hmm. It continues to scale the idea of influencing change. Yeah. But ultimately, I think through my story, through my past, through my experiences, even from since being a young kid, I just remember always having this desire to help people win, to be authentic at what they do, to be great at what they do. And whether you call it nurture or nature or a combination of both, right? It's just been it. And I kind of see the world, I see opportunities as a canvas, but I think ultimately everything that I do is just about improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, can we take this back a little bit, and then just, was there a specific situation or something going back to your childhood, right? Or maybe not your childhood, but where you realized, hey, I'm meant, this is my gift. I'm meant to help people. Yeah. I want to help people. Yeah. Was there something that kind of opened your eyes your mind to that?
Yeah. I got to go back to my origin story. So you hear me talk. I live in Texas now, but I don't have a Texan accent. At least I don't think I have one. From the Caribbean islands of Antigua and Barbuda. Most people don't know where that is. You look on the map, southeast of Puerto Rico. If it looked like somebody dropped a pen on the map, that's pretty much my island. Small island, but filled with what I would believe to be big people with big hearts. My island is actually known for 365 beaches. I keep giving a plug there, even though they don't.
365?
365, bro. One for each day of the year.
Have you made it to all of them?
No. And I don't know. I've never seen 365, but I'm just going to go with it. But they haven't given me anything from a tourism perspective for putting that out there. But my father, Cornelius Royal Glasgow, would make Jovan Glasgow make more sense if you met him. My father was always a visionary. He was always somebody that I felt like he dreamed bigger than his circumstance. He was also an island man, and he was an educator at one point. So obviously he was a mathematician from the university perspective. So everybody knew him as the math guy. No pressure on me. I couldn't even get a B, bro. It was crazy. But also he was an entrepreneur. My father started probably about 3 or 4 different companies.
Yeah.
From an ice cream truck all the way to a tile cleaning business. He did every possible thing. And then later in his life, he became a pastor. He felt like he had a spiritual calling on his life. So I always grew up watching a man kind of fight to figure out the journey of impact and purpose far greater than his circumstance. I have a book coming out, Deeper Than Motivation. And a chapter in the book.
I'm looking forward to that,
Oh,
by the way.
It's going to be amazing.
I'm excited about it, man.
I know. Jovan already said I'm getting like the first edition
100%.
autographed book. So
I'm walking here to bring
Taking
it to you.
dibs on
That's
it.
how serious it is.
Can we make it a 2-person order?
I got you. Too easy. But I remember, because I wrote in the book that a lot of my experiences as a young boy came from the fact that my parents were very adamant about taking us on trips outside of the walls of our Caribbean island. And there's power in exposure. So even at that young age, I started to see the world a lot differently than my peers, my friends, the people who were hanging around. And then my father kind of got in this space where he started listening to a lot of thought leaders, Zig Ziglar, Miles Monroe, T.D. Jakes, all of these different guys. And I would just hear him listening to this in his office. And I think even from that moment, something started to happen in me where these words were kind of like seeds planted in my heart of possibility, combined with the exposure. Now, none of that really meant anything until I was 20 years old. I had already been sent off to college. I was coming home every single summer to work a summer job. And me and my father had a Friday tradition.
So you were working over here in the States.
They sent me to college.
Okay,
My
gotcha.
parents thought it'd be a great idea to send an 18-year-old boy to South Beach, Miami, Florida for school.
It's tough.
I don't think we want to go into that on this podcast. Wherever your mind just went, yes. Yes. But every summer I would come home to work a summer job instead of going to summer classes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Friday we had a tradition that he'd come and we'd grab lunch together. Yeah. I still remember this Friday, man. He came into the branch and he wasn't smiling like his regular self. He stood at the back of the car and he said, son, been having some complications in my body. Not really sure what's going on. I've been going to the doctor. He said, but, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if Daddy said it's going to be okay, you shrug it off.
Yep.
Like it's going to be okay. From that point, about 9 months or so to a year later, I saw him lose about 90 pounds. And that would go from just a moment of hearing a story to standing at his gravesite, seeing my father in a casket, which is crazy. Because as a man, that's your superhero. Father was 6'2", 285 pounds. He could accomplish anything in my eyes.
Right.
And I don't know, I know other people have experienced loss, but for me, seeing your superhero in a casket, the dichotomy of that, did something in me at that age that I still remember. I still remember looking over at him. Still remember touching his cheek, and it was cold. For some reason, I kissed it. And I remember whispering words to him. I say, I got us. I got us. My story of impact didn't start from where most people's would, where they had some big revelation one day or they read a book, and I started from seeing my father in the casket.
Yeah.
And I recognized this thing ends. And so I have a responsibility not only to fulfill what he didn't finish, but I have a responsibility to make sure that no person gets to this place in their life not having lived out the fullness of what life meant.
Right.
That's when my journey started to impacting people. To this day, that's what still fuels me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's powerful, dude.
Yeah,
And
man.
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Jay, every time, it seems like every time you and I sit down, whether it be, at a coffee shop or at your office or something, right? I walk out of there just saying, man, what a conversation.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think that most people have to experience whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rock bottom, some sort of, rough moment in their life to be woken up
Yeah.
and to bring out
Yeah.
that best self, or the, hey, I've had enough. Do you think in order to achieve that, you have to experience,
Yeah.
those hardships?
Yeah. Such a powerful question. I have a line that says, there is only two types of hard in life. The hard that you choose or the hard that chooses you. Right? The hard that you choose because you make a decision and or commitment to grow, to evolve, to live a life of purpose.
Right.
Or the hard that chooses you not because you did anything necessarily wrong, because of really the divine restructuring of one's life. I don't believe that everybody has to go through a level of pain to be successful, but I do believe without a great level of pain, you can't necessarily be impactful. I used to say this, that your pain is for the pain of others. So what allows me to go from connection to conviction is that I'm helping people through what I've also experienced in some scale.
Right.
So to be effective, you have to be immersed. You have to feel what it is that the person or people that you're helping to feel. So there is no win without a war. I always say, if your first business idea doesn't fail, then you would have been an overnight success, but next week's greatest tragedy.
Yep.
If you never knew a broken heart, you never know real love.
Right.
And from my story, if you never experienced death, you never embrace the fragility of life.
Right.
So there's this beautiful connection between breaking and breakthrough. Yeah.
Man. Breaking and breakthrough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dude. What was I going to tell you? This happens often, by the way. We're talking and it's just, I want to
good.
ask Jay something and it just goes a different direction. But
Yeah.
The hard thing with having a conversation with Jovan, and again, they are the easiest conversations in the world, is he'll throw in a line with such depth that a lot of times it's like, to him it comes out so casually, but then I just sit there and I'm like, oh man, there's some purpose behind those words. And I think you as a person, obviously with your occupation, what you do and how you develop those people, I guess I had two questions for you. The first one being, you develop such powerful words, right? And I don't think that's by accident. Everything that you've ever talked to me about when we've had conversations is the intentionality of things, right? Being focused in your words matter. When developing those phrases and those things, where do those come from? Is that spending time working on your craft, or walk me through that?
1,000,000,000%. It's a hybrid of two things. Number one, you're not seeing anything in public that I haven't wrestled with in private.
yeah.
We're having probably an hour-long conversation here today, and this is encapsulating maybe a decade of growing, seeking, failing, trying, getting up again, getting knocked down again, getting up again, getting knocked down again.
Yeah.
The most powerful space that I operate from, whenever I'm in moments, whether I'm on a stage in front of thousands or on a camera or in a room full of three, I'm really just having a conversation with myself.
Yeah.
Other people are just listening on it. That's the beauty of why I believe, as a person who makes a difference in other people's lives, my greatest responsibility for my effectiveness is to keep my hands in the soil. So if you recognize, whether it's the work we do or the things that we have conversations about, I'm asking for more opportunities to be immersed in your world.
Yeah.
Because without that, then it's, to me, words without purpose is noise. But words with purpose is life. It's power, you know. I always say, watch the words that are coming out your mouth because your ears are listening. And ultimately, you create that pattern. It will drive everything that you believe. So to some degree, that's the first thing. Living that life, I'm very hard on myself. I had a conversation with my best friend the other day, and I said, I realized one of my greatest challenges is something I'm so grateful for. I struggle with the notion of showing up to do something that is in conflict with what I'm living. And so being hard on myself allows me to be able to I'm just walking, I'm not stretching, I'm just being.
Yeah.
Because I'm living in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think for some people, there's a process to that, right?
Yeah.
Trying to find that authenticity, trying to find out who they are.
Yeah.
And you seem to, embody that
Yeah.
authenticity.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't come as, didn't come for free, right?
Yeah.
For some people it's easier. For some people it's truly a soul-searching thing.
Yeah.
I know you spoke about obviously where a lot of that comes from and those heartbreaks, those difficulties that really teach us what we're about and who we are.
Yeah.
But as you've gone through life and you've developed, your programs, your teachings, and what your message is to others,
Yeah.
can you talk to me a little bit about like some of those best practices? How do you
Yeah.
do you journal? Do you
Yeah.
put things on paper? What does that look like to? Because I don't think anybody's just sitting there like, oh, light bulb in the head, and then they get up on stage and they remember everything that they thought, right?
Negative.
And you have an incredible power of delivering a direct message. People resonate with it.
Yeah.
So what does that process look like?
Yeah. For me, it's definitely a daily discipline. I write a lot. I think one of the challenges most people have with the ability to convey effectively is that they don't write. So writing is really the organization of thoughts in a format that allows it to go from your head through your heart to your hands.
Yeah.
So because I'm writing a lot, I'm constantly getting the words out of my head onto paper. Then not only that, man, in the beginning of my journey, there'd be days where it'd be 6-7 hour days of pacing back and forth in an apartment,
Yeah.
practicing a 5,000-6,000 word speech verbatim, like I wasn't missing a word. So if I got to word 2046 and I messed up, I'm going back to the top. So most people who see
Damn.
me, they would be like, okay, you use a transcript when you're making
Yeah.
content. There's no transcript. My videographer is always like, dude, what? I don't get it.
Yeah.
But that's just repetition, and it's the power of the human mind. So a daily practice of writing, I think, is huge. To me, the most effective teachers are the hungriest learners. We can't get away from the reading, the studying. And I'll tell you more tangibles, but I'm always focused on killing my ego every single day. The hard thing about ego is like bad breath. Everybody else recognizes it except for the person who has it.
Yeah.
So learning and being around sharp people keeps you in the space. And honestly, the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know. That's just the truth at the end of the day. But that writing, I think, is huge. I'm constantly in conversations, whether it's with CEOs, whether I'm in boardrooms, whether I'm meeting event coordinators, and I'm hearing problems constantly. And I look at those problems as needs analysis to some degree, but insight of where I can create more effective solutions. Yeah. So I'm immersed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Jay, so I remembered what I was going to ask you. So going back to, obviously, you're bringing out the best in people. Would you say that this is a misconception for, people in your line of, business where you've got it all figured out, there's no, you don't have any issues, you don't have any problems, you're 100% motivated all the time. Would you say that that's the truth, or?
I wouldn't say it's a misconception. I would say that people in my space have been very intentional about positioning that, because in our Western culture, we buy perfection.
Yeah.
Right? We buy the illusion of, all right, the washboard abs, the big chest, the fancy cars, all that, because most people in my space don't sell substance, they sell image, right? For me, my journey has felt longer because I would consider myself to be the inverse. I'm focused less on image and maybe more on substance, right? And so that is the biggest lie. There's no human on this earth that can escape any sort of challenge. And to me, the truth is, if you're lacking in challenge and you do this work, you're either not growing or you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
I have more challenges than most people would ever assume. So it's not, you don't do this work from a place of figuring this thing out.
Right.
You do this from the place of being one step ahead and helping the people who may be one step behind and those people behind that. So my effectiveness comes from the fact that I keep going through challenges at different levels.
Right.
And so I can help different people at those different levels to also go through those challenges as well.
Yeah.
One of the shifts that happened in my life recently, and it's been this beautiful journey. Oh man. I've recognized that the way I know I'm about to go to the next level is because I start dealing with next level problems. To me, problems always show up first.
Yeah.
For me. And they're always just opportunities for me to not only walk through them, but to document them along the way.
Right.
Yeah. So I go through, I tell people all the time, there's been times I'm on stage giving a positive message with a negative bank account, and I mean that.
Yeah.
I'm telling people, chase your dreams, and Chase is calling me for their overdraft fees. Oh, that's happened.
It happens, bro, and you got to show up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What is your internal problem-solving process, man?
Brilliant.
I mean, and I'll share, some stuff that I've shared with you before, right? And I've done a lot of internal, internal dialogue, right? And self-reflection, and I still do. And there's, day-to-day things that happen. And for me, it's, when I'm faced with a real challenge, for me, it's I go out and take a walk, and I literally, out loud, I'm talking to myself. If someone sees me walking down the street, they're like, there goes that guy's that crazy dude just talking to himself. But it helps me, voice the problem, work through solutions actively, and then outside of that, it's, in doing some self-reflection and walking through it. And at the end of the day, whether it's hopefully a solution comes out of it, or forgiveness comes out of it, depending on what I'm going through. So,
for me, it's pretty powerful. It really starts from this fundamental belief that nothing comes to me unless it's either good for me or good for others through me. Okay? So everything that happens to me is either designed to change me or to refine my approach to help others change. That first belief is everything, because the moment that belief moves out of the way and I start to internalize it, take it personal, look at it as some sort of, attack, I will miss the lesson. And I believe most people miss the very answer to the thing they're seeking, because the answer never shows up like the package. It shows up like the problem.
Right.
That's just period. If you ever look for more income, what's going to show up is more problems. If you look for more purpose, more problems are going to show up.
Right.
Because purpose is just problems in disguise.
Would you say it's, it's obviously a mindset, right? But, it's that mindset of seeing the obstacles as opportunities. You don't know, you never know. You find innovation opportunities and challenges and problems and, what may seem like oh shit, this sucks, is actually really oh man, that was the opportunity.
Yeah. Here's the truth. The only problem we have as humans, the only problem, is either our unwillingness or inability to see the purpose in the problem. That is the only problem we really have. We're either unwilling to see it, hold on, maybe it's not about me changing what feels good. I asked a group of guys this I was coaching the other day, what's your favorite medicine? This could go really bad really quick. And they look at me like, what do you mean? What's your favorite medicine? What medicine, if you had a choice, you would take right now because you just love it?
Yeah.
None. Why? Because medicine don't taste good, but it is good. And so we have to disassociate the mindset of going after things that only taste good or things that only feel good.
Right.
Transformation is the most uncomfortable thing, and that's the work that I do because it's change at the core. So to go back to my internal compass, the fundamental principle is that this is producing something. But my process is three things: beliefs, behaviors, outcomes, constantly. Beliefs, behaviors, outcomes. It always starts in the inverse. So at first, the thing that I'm looking at is the outcomes. I'm either not getting the outcomes that I want or potentially not getting the outcomes that I need. And that's a whole different discussion too.
Yeah.
Because we usually ask for what we want, but what usually shows up is what we need. What I have to first say is, okay, if I'm not getting the outcomes that I want or the outcomes that I believe I need, then I reverse engineer it to say, okay, Jovan, true analysis on your behaviors. What are your behaviors like? Yeah. Are you behaving in accordance with these outcomes that you want to see happen? Yes, no. And this is asking a real question to give a real answer.
Right.
Then I take one step back to say, okay, if not, what beliefs do you currently have that's driving the behaviors that you're seeing, that's fighting the outcomes that you desire to see? Yeah. And I'm constantly going through that. So now I know, okay, if these are the beliefs that I'm holding true to right now that are creating these behaviors and creating these outcomes, then I'm reverse engineering to say, well, what beliefs do I need to have or let go of in order to have the behaviors that's necessary for the outcome? I am emotional, naturally.
Right.
I used to hate it. Dude, I'm a big dude, 6'2", probably 270 pounds now.
I thought about bringing Kleenex in here because I knew someone would probably shed some tears during the podcast.
No, but you're good. But my emotional is my strength.
Yeah.
I used to hate it because I deemed it as a weakness. But here's why I'm bringing this up is because for me, I have to know how to manage those emotions so I keep the outcome the main thing.
Yes, I 100% agree on that. And, same. I think naturally, Jay, I'm also emotional. And it's not that I hated it, but it's more of, I realized there was a point where I would let my emotions control my actions. And it was, I started to realize, man, it's okay. It's okay to be emotional, have emotions, but you have to be aware of them and use them more as a compass.
100%. Well said. Well said. I ain't got nothing to that. I love that. I love that. That's wisdom.
Jay, dude, why do you think it's so hard for people to let go of certain beliefs? And have you ever worked with, anyone where you're just like, hey, this is clearly the issue, this is clearly the problem, and
Just want to shake them
You
away.
just want to,
Yeah.
Yep.
like, like Billy Madison,
Yeah.
like today, Junior,
Yep.
It's
the biggest obstacle in the work that I do. Because where most people call me is because they have a tangible professional issue. They're like, Jovan, teams are not producing, we're not seeing these types of objectives, all of that. The best part of the work that I get a chance to do is to show people that if you trace back everything that is happening, it is always going to come down to people.
Yeah.
None of this stuff happens by itself.
Right.
This is a people issue. And to your point, the toughest challenge in people getting out of their own way is what they define as normal. I have a chapter in my book again. It's called When Normal Isn't Healthy. I don't fight people, I fight their norms. And this is so significant. Because not because we choose to embrace something as normal means that it's actually good for us, even if it may feel good to us. Okay? And I'm going to break this down. One of the fundamental questions of transformation is, what am I embracing as normal that is conflicting my desires or my desired state?
Yeah.
That one question can change a person's life.
Yeah.
Why? If a person views poverty as their norm, I'm not just talking about they've experienced it.
Right.
I'm talking about to them, they say this is my norm.
Yeah.
They can never be wealthy.
Right.
Not because they can't, because they won't.
Right.
If it's a person's norm, if it's a person's norm to be in a dysfunctional state, they will subconsciously sabotage their peace. If it is your norm to solve problems, you will actually create a harder way to do things just to fix those problems, just to feel a sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
Can I go a little bit deep? One of the hardest things for me is seeing people in abusive relationships. If we just take it that way. To us, it's abusive. To them, they will validate a fist wrapped in a box that they call love.
Right.
It's normal. Not until we disassociate from the definitions of norm that are literally fighting what we want can we actually begin to see new norms. And the biggest line here is because you will always sabotage what you don't believe you deserve.
Yeah.
So in my work, it is culturally normal that if you bring in an expert, we're going to talk about the processes, systems. That's great. We're going to do all that. But let's get to the fundamental issue here.
Yeah.
These are people making decisions that impact people, to serve people, to solve a problem for people. So it's a people issue at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But because most
Let's go. Let's go.
Let us hear it.
Most leaders, most owners have found their identity in their skill, not in their essence. Authenticity is a curse word for most successful people because they've had to put on a version. They have a representative,
Right.
a person that you hire to show the people a version of you that you believe they'll accept.
Yeah.
Well, if that is the fundamental norm and belief for the person making the decision, the idea of empowering your team is a scary thing.
Right.
Because do I empower my people? I had this conversation the other day with the CEO, and it just, I have to go for a walk after this. And they said, Jovan, we love you. We love everything you do. Our concern is that we're empowering our people to leave. Oh, gosh. And I get where they assume they're coming from. But are you empowering your people to leave, or are you getting to a level of authenticity of knowing what you're really working with? Because they're going to leave anyway.
Yep.
Right? So that's just a thought, but it's norms. Norms is what's holding us back from going.
Norms, yeah. Well, you touched on, we've touched on authenticity a couple times now, but, again, just to kind of validate some of the things that we're doing here, and that we know set us apart is, authenticity. And I think you know me very well by now that and so do you and the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what sets Sayan apart. I mean,
I can speak because I'm not on Sayan's payroll, but I'm just gonna say this: like, I don't know that I would be on any other company's podcast.
yeah,
And I've been blessed to work with big companies that brand-wise just make sense.
right.
And I'm just saying this because you're sitting here. Because you're sitting here. It's not just authenticity. Having the opportunity to work with so many different organizations, to be a part of something where people really care about the customer, really care about the quality of the work that they do. I mean, I don't need to sell myself on this.
Right.
And there's not much I would say no to.
Yeah.
I don't know, we haven't gotten there yet. But I would say that that's the things that's been my experience. So it's not just authenticity in the construct that I think most people think about it, but this is genuine, this is real, and that's why I rock with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Jay, is there before you get on stage and talk, because you've spoken in front of thousands of people on stage all over the U.S. Have you done any national?
Oh yes,
or
yes. I was about to plug that, but so let me come. I have. Yeah.
But is there? What pumps you up before you get on stage? How do you get yourself hyped?
Yeah. You don't need me hype.
I mean,
on
you're
stage.
already like super high
I
energy,
actually
right?
need to go the opposite way.
Yeah.
So people don't notice.
You bring it down.
Dude,
you
I
calm
drink
yourself
lavender tea.
Yeah.
You don't need me drinking a Celsius, or I'm not giving nobody a plug. You want to be drinking energy drink before getting on the stage? Man. But my pre-speech routine, obviously, is definitely drinking some lavender tea, finding ways to calm down. And there's just something for me of remembering the moments where I was practicing the same speech, and the only people listening was the furniture in the apartment. The little furniture I had.
Yeah.
Dude, what was that like, Jay? I mean, okay, so where does the point come where you're like, hey, I've decided that I'm gonna take my gift and show it to the world, right? And I want to speak on stages, and what was that like? You mentioned, in your apartment. Practicing 5,000 word speeches
With no speeches booked.
with nothing written down, all that stuff. What was that initial journey like?
Yeah.
And what did you struggle? Did you almost quit?
Yeah.
What was that like?
No, for sure. I remember, I'm pretty sure it was Les Brown once. I heard her saying a quote that says it is better to be prepared for an opportunity that never comes than to have an opportunity come and you're not prepared.
Yep.
That went from my head to my heart. And I recognized that my opportunities weren't necessarily hiding from me, but in order for me to be able to seize those, I had to be ready. So the desire to be ready, which was really rooted in excellence, is what made me practice back and forth with no speeches booked.
Yeah.
Now, I still remember my first speech. It was at a pharmacy. I had a buddy of mine who owned a company. And
At a pharmacy?
A pharmacy, yeah. He had about 100 employees back in Tampa.
Okay, gotcha.
And I remember asking him, hey, man, can I come in and kind of give a speech to your employees? He's like, okay, cool. What are you going to speak about? I'm like, I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Free speech. He wasn't paying me for it. And I went into this moment and I was talking about love, which is crazy. Love in a corporate setting. But I'm talking about loving what you do and loving your deal. I remember it being the first time I ever felt what felt like an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like I was being. It was the most fulfilling, it was just so easy to do. And I think that's one of the things that made me recognize, like, this is different. This didn't feel like work, right? And from that, I probably went another 6-7 months before anybody even reached out. And then I got my first inquiry to speak at a company. I think it was in South Florida area.
Yeah.
And that was in my opinion, horrible.
So you bombed?
They gave me a standing ovation. I don't even, I was embarrassed.
But, okay, so you thought you bombed, but the crowd.
If I probably in 2 years spoke on 100 stages,
Yeah.
I think 80% of them, I think I bombed. And then I get
Really?
5-star reviews, standing ovations, rebooked.
Yeah.
So there's a version of me talking in my head and a version of me that's coming through.
Yeah.
And they're two different people.
Why do you think that is? Is that just because of how hard you are on yourself, or we're always in the pursuit of perfection when we know that maybe, when we understand that perfection is just
powerful question.
The construct, and I mean we talk about it here. It's like, hey, we're working towards something, and we're not necessarily going to wait until it's perfect. Otherwise, we're just going to wait around. Right?
Yeah. So. For me, it's not a perfection thing. Here's the reality. The audience sees the process. I see the vision.
Yeah.
I see what I can become.
Right.
The audience sees what I'm being in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's not a place from a magnitude perspective of how many people are in the audience. But it's the levels that I have in me that I know. All right, this is outstanding to you, but boy, let me tell you, when I fine tune that other version, that storytelling, the empathy, the flow, the structure, the ability to speak different languages in the middle of a keynote, right? When I can tap into those areas, and I think that's where mastery comes from. You look at anybody who's mastered their craft. They're not chasing the applause.
Right.
They're chasing the pull, the intrinsic vision. And that's why I'm not satisfied but content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what came to mind, right? Is there's levels to mastery, right? And I think there's always those moments as you continue to grow as a person, as you continue to grow in your profession, where you're like, okay, I've gotten over that last hump or whatever it was, and you're like, man, now I've got it figured out, right? And now it's go time. And there's a little bit of motivation there.
Yeah.
And I make a lot of sports parallels, but I think I love listening to a lot of professional athletes that they talk about their coming into the league moment, right?
Yeah.
Or their welcome to the league moment, where they've found some success, they've been doing well, or whatever it is, and then in football they get decleated, they got put right on their butt, right? Or they thought they had it all figured out, and somebody that was at that highest level of mastery really showed them that they weren't exactly what they thought they were.
Yeah.
And I think each one of us probably had that, but I'm interested in hearing your story. Of course, there's been progression to these things. Was there a welcome to the league moment for you?
Mine was different. I'm afraid to share it because I might have to put somebody out there. Let's just put it this way. A few years ago, I was booked at a conference, and the event host hit me up a little bit later, and they said, "Hey, Jovan, we have this headline speaker. He's a headline."
Oh, I know this story.
He's a headline. So he's on Shark Tank.
Okay.
And we have a headline speaker, and we want you to come in and also speak, because his style is a little bit more different than yours. We're going to lean on you more to motivate people and get people up and get people moving. I was like, all right, cool, let's run it.
Yeah.
But they said leading up to that event, we really want you to meet him. We want you to meet him. We want you guys to connect. And I'm thinking the mindset was to have us meet and to have me understand where he's potentially trying to go to set up the moment. I was like, okay, cool. So the day of the event comes, and like, hey, he's here. He wants to meet you. Open the door, walking there. When I open the door, he's in there with his bodyguard, and he looks at me. He's like, "What's up?" I was like, "Hello." They said that they wanted us to meet. I'm not sure really what's going on. He said, "Well, I don't really, I don't mind meeting you, but I don't really need to." He said, "Yeah, so," and I was just like shocked.
Yeah.
I walked up the room, and I remember how small I felt. I felt small. And I was in the little cubicle, silent area before I went in, before they introduced me. I remember feeling small, and in that moment, as quickly as I felt small, something in me said, no, go to work, those people don't know up to this day why I came on that stage like King Kong. My blood is running even right now. But I came on that stage and I did my thing. We'll leave what happened after that off camera.
Okay.
For us to talk, but just let's say like King Kong came out.
Yeah.
And it's tough to follow King Kong, humbly speaking. But why that was a wake-up moment for me, not because I felt belittled to some degree, that was true. But I thought to myself, I never want to be in a position to make a young man, young woman feel that way. And here I was, not the headline, but setting the tone for the headliner. And to get that treatment, it just made me like, I'm not fascinated or excited with the space. I'm not excited about celebrity culture. I don't get hype when I see people because I'm not wired for the phoniness. I'm not wired for the fakeness. I'm not wired if you represent something on a stage, and my experience with you behind the scenes is the complete opposite to that. I'll go sit down before I do that, you know, or I don't know, go on an island and sell coconuts on a beach or something. I'm just not wired to do that. So that moment for me, I guess, lit a fire in me. And when you really put these two individuals on stage and know that I had not accomplished that level of success yet, but to be up there on that, you know what I'm saying, received that way, it showed me, okay, you got something in you. And thieves don't break into an empty home.
Yep.
You know, most of the times, if you are attacked or threatened in any way, it could just be that your essence. Let me tell you, there's a saying that says the giant looks in the mirror and sees nothing. And that's so true. I didn't recognize who I was. Like, I still don't really fully. Like, people, you got something on your face. You don't. Somebody has to see you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that was a father wound as well, not having a father to validate, like, you got this, come on, son, push. You have to find that through the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a big part of that continued success of? I mean, I appreciate you sharing the story of your father. It's made you who you are today.
Yeah.
You know, that next step of not having that person.
Yeah.
How have you seen that show up and push you to the next step?
Yeah. I was in a space recently of rediscovering who I am now that I've healed. The pain is going to get you started, but if you don't find true purpose, it won't keep you pushing long enough, because as time moves, you heal from that. And I recognize, even though
you heal or suppress.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Even though I'd said so much of my journey started with the passing of my father, which it did at that point, now it's really about the fulfillment of a purpose and a destiny. I have a son now.
Yeah.
I never knew that having a son was the thing that was going to heal me.
Yeah.
I thought I need a father figure. I need some.
Right.
But the moment I became a father, it gave me another push to, like, okay, how can I make sure that at the end of my journey, my son looks and, you know, he's like, man, my daddy was a bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's huge for me.
I appreciate you sharing
That's
that
awesome.
again, man. It's every time, like we talked about when we first started this, I always leave the conversations that I have with Jovan of like, one, incredible guy, more than anything, but you ooze this inspiring feeling into other people, right? And I think that's something that you do naturally, but that's also something that you've crafted over time. You spoke about having, you know, you either heal or you hide from it, right? And I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier of that's whatever your normal is, right? And so how do you help those people confront those norms and start to make that first path to change?
Yeah. Everything starts at awareness. You don't change people. That's not my goal. That's not my mission. As a matter of fact, you can't change anybody. And as somebody coined as a motivational speaker, you can't motivate people.
Yeah.
My job is to create space. My job is to create a space that allows people to feel safe enough, inspired enough, challenged enough to be able to technically confront outwardly maybe what they're dealing with inwardly. I'm creating space. This conversation, my words just create space.
Yeah.
And helping them to get to the level of awareness, whether that's an individual or an organization. It's all an awareness thing. Where are we?
Mm-hmm.
The journey always starts for most people. Where do we need to go?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on now. Where are we? Right? So that awareness piece is number one. The second thing is ownership. So there's 7 steps. Awareness is number 1. Ownership is number 2. Before we can actually make any move, we have to get to the point of embracing this truth. It is nobody else's fault and nobody else's responsibility.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That saying will only be what we take ownership of to make it be. The market, the competitors, all of these different things that most people try to use as reasons not to take ownership does not exist. If you're bold in your stance, you cannot be controlled by your circumstance. And the opposite of ownership is excuses, when we blame other people, things, or circumstance for why we can't create change in our lives. So there's an ownership piece to it. The third is actually identity. Who are we?
Yep.
And I think that is so fundamentally important, even on the individual level or organizational level as a team. Like, who are we? What are we going to represent in time?
Right.
From there is disempowering doubt, not fear, but disempowering doubt. I don't focus on fear because fear is more of an emotion rooted in inadequacy than it's a response. If you see me shriveled in a corner, you'd be like, that dude is fearful. No, I'm cold.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's we don't even understand, but it's the doubt that I'm after.
Right.
What does that fear cause you to doubt? Because the moment we are lingering between two spaces, should I not, can I not, that middle place is the most dangerous place for a man, a woman, a leader. That doubt will destroy you.
Yeah.
Right? For me, the next thing is vision. Where are you going? You have to have a vision. I always say, without a vision, you'll be destroyed by distraction. Period.
Yeah.
The next is connection. How will I connect? What does connection look like? And then the last, most pivotal, is execution. It's the gap between ideation and impact. Execution.
Yeah.
Yeah. 7-step process.
Would you say that, I think a lot of people wait till all of those first steps, 6 steps are perfect before they start on that last step?
I'd say so, most people. At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
You know, they're just
100%.
waiting. This, you find people saying, oh, you know, next year, and, you know, oh, next year.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, 20 years pass by, and they're still where they...
Perfecting the first 6 steps,
Yeah.
right?
It's because we don't understand clarity and what clarity is and what it's not. Clarity doesn't show up like it will be. It shows up as a glimpse.
Yep. And going back to awareness, dude, you know, just it takes self-work to a lot of it, right, Jay? And it to be aware enough for that small glimpse, for you to see that small glimpse, see through that, you know, little sliver, little crevice, and realize it and just run through it. And going back to, you know, you mentioned taking ownership, right? And knowing that, you know, being aware, being responsible. I think the biggest shift, and I know some of this, Jay, you and I have talked about, but the biggest shift in my life came when I decided that I was going to take full responsibility for everything that happened to me and everything that happened in my life. And that day, the day I decided that, and I said, you know, I'm no longer going to negotiate with that, with myself, with my commitments, with whatever I say I'm going to do, my life changed completely.
I can't even, man, that's music to my ears. That's food to the body. That is fragrance, brother. That is so critical. And if I could put my hand on one thing that keeps most people I work with or help from truly growing, is ownership.
Yeah.
And ownership doesn't mean that you're validating the experiences.
Right.
It means that it happened to you, but you're not going to let it happen through you.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well said. Well said.
That's happened to you, not through you.
Yeah.
Dude, there's something that I like to, tell myself, and, we're going to go through ups and downs, and we're all going to have issues. We all have problems, right? But we have to be steady, right? And no matter what happens externally, it's not going to change me internally. It's my internal, whatever it is, my internal essence or, pillar, what it has to remain steady, regardless of the outside noise, of the issues that I'm having to, shield off.
Incredible. The wind and the wave. There's a song, I think, that says you can change the direction. You can't change the direction of the wind, but you can adjust the sails.
Yeah.
And that's really, really critical. Yeah. The wind is going to come. But what does your sail look like when it comes? First of all, is it intact? Does it have rips and tears and stuff in it? That's just going to allow that wind to not be able to maximize what that sail could do to propel you. Or will it be in the wrong direction? Will it be in the direction of blame and hurt and shutting down? Or will it be in the direction of progress because the wind is going to hit? And what's powerful is
that's in the wrong direction. Sometimes it is, right? Sometimes, stuff happens and, the first thing you want to do is start blaming and then it takes some work to I don't know any boat terms or sailing terms, right? But then it takes work to and awareness and the want and the need to say, hey, okay, stop the blame. I got to turn this boat around
and usually
start going in the right direction.
You turn the sail before the wind happens, right? So there's part that you have to invoke belief before you see that wind happening. And that's such a critical point in life and business, anything. Do you have the belief in what you're doing to the point that you're going to work on the sail before you see the wind? If you sit two people down, one person can attribute a wind in their life to every loss they've ever had. Another person can attribute that same wind to every wind they've ever had. What's the difference? The sail.
Yeah.
The direction of the sail, the condition of it, then the direction of the sail. So will this time in your life, this situation, this circumstance lead to a breakthrough, or will it break you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think
whichever you want.
Yeah, I think that's the truth.
I'd like for mine to always be breakthroughs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, right, get caught up in their day-to-day, right? All of us have jobs. We have our responsibilities at home, at work, spiritually, mentally. We have these responsibilities, and as men, I think, some of those responsibilities are similar for our families and stuff like that. But as we're getting caught up, right, I think I know this has happened to me personally, and it's one thing that I work on. And so I wanted to ask you, Jovan, as well, is, as you're working through everything else that you've got on your plate, right? Sometimes you get to that point where you're like, oh shoot, something has to happen, right? For you to realize, okay, this is something that I want to change, right? Some of the things that you've helped me work through, professionally as well, is having those check-ins to make sure that you've got your sail in the right direction.
Yeah.
So can you talk us through some of those things that help us to stay in the, in check, be checking that wind, and are we in the right direction?
Yeah, I think those check-ins, it's not just the action of the check-in, but it's the heart of the check-in. First of all, to check in, you have to have something to check into.
Yep.
So it really starts with clarity, really having a focus, a goal, an objective, something that you're trying to achieve, some outcomes. And ultimately, from a team dynamic perspective, you're managing the behaviors. Yes, you're speaking to the results, but you're really managing the behaviors. The check-in, the best way I can think about the check-in, it is continued realignment from our humanity into our focus. Because the fight for humans is feelings versus focus.
Yeah.
So the feelings always keep pulling you in whatever direction is happening.
Yep.
The check-ins is your ways of a leader, of really making sure that you're helping people to continue to recalibrate from an alignment perspective so that we can achieve those intended outcomes over time.
Yeah.
Now, for you to do so effectively, you also have to have your own check-in cadence to make sure that what you are doing in belief ultimately allows you to naturally do in behaviors so that you can help your people, your team achieve those outcomes. So I think the check-in period is very essential, not just on a daily basis, but it changes on a monthly, quarterly basis, annual basis. And to those 7 points I mentioned earlier, they just flip to become questions. So now where am I? What's standing, where am I? Why am I there? Who am I? Where am I going? How will I connect? How will I execute? They just now turn into questions that equal those answers to walk you through that. So I think that's one of the critical and most simple ways to create the most effective results in our life. I mean, you know, from a fitness perspective, check-ins look like macros and gym. It's just a way to keep yourself true and honest to the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you helped me through is just, you got to schedule them, right?
Yeah.
And that's the way I have to work. If I don't schedule it, then I'm just going to get caught up in the exact same thing that I'm doing and keep pushing forward. And and I think you start to learn that those become daily. Those questions you start asking, you know, subconsciously.
Yeah.
And you start automatically, you know, checking that sale.
Yeah.
And you start to move forward in a more purposeful direction.
You ever been on a cruise ship?
One time.
You ever seen the rudder?
Not of the cruise ship, but I've seen a smaller one,
Yeah. It's always fascinating to me, the size of the rudder versus the size of the cruise ship.
Yeah. Teeny
Same
tiny.
premise. It's those small things that turn the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now that leads me to my next question.
Sure.
Right? Because I think alignment is huge in your directions. And something that you've talked to me about before is, you know, the difference between goals and results. Right? I think we're at the beginning of the year right now still where a lot of people are checking in on their resolutions or maybe still haven't made them or are already off of their resolutions. Talk to us a little bit more about the difference between a goal, right, and the results.
Yeah. First of all, the scariest place to ever get to in life is not stuck in a cage with a gorilla or in the jungle with an anaconda. The scariest place to get to in life is the end of your life to realize you live somebody else's. That's the scariest place. Your results in life, aka goals as they want to call it, and we'll kind of talk about the distinction, is how you reverse engineer the destination. Okay, this is where I want to be in life and in business. This is the legacy and the family. Okay, what is it going to take for me to achieve that?
Yeah.
Now, what most people struggle with to some degree is they look at goals as results. So if I say I want to make X amount of dollars or I want to lose X amount of pounds, it's so easy to call it the goal. But those are really results. That happens as a result of behaviors, of beliefs, everything.
Of the small things.
There you
right?
go. 100%.
Day to day, step by step.
100%. So it's so essential to realize that what I will produce is the result. What it takes me to produce that is now the goal. So for me, the biggest shift in my life, in my business, and everything was like, okay, Jovan, what results do you need to see to make the impact that you want to make at scale? And how do those results differ across the board? Well, what's my result physically? What's my result financially? And then what is it going to take to achieve those results? And sometimes we call that the process.
Yeah.
But the way that I look at it is that your goals now should be the process. So I need to eat this, I need to work out this, I need to make sure. My goals now become hitting those things consistently, because the truth is, it's the only thing I can actually manage wholeheartedly. I could say I want to lose 20 pounds, but maybe I lost 15.
Right.
And so many people are either dissatisfied, disengaged, or to some degree they lack in the clarity because they have assumed the result to be the goal and they're not the same thing. So again, the result is what I hope to achieve. The goal is the process by achieving that. And when we make the process the goal, we will exceed the result.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Man.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's for me, as you guys are, like, I like fitness, right? And I'm big into it, and that's what is what I do there kind of translates into my into business, right? Is for the longest time I said, okay, I want to look a certain way, compete, do certain things, and that was my goal. Yeah, the process is actually my goal, and me getting on stage, me looking a certain way is the end result. Tracking food, tracking certain things in business, right? Our target, we know what our target is, and we're working on certain steps and certain processes to be able to hit our target. The target may move sometimes, but our processes are going to stay the same, steady, consistent.
So good. I've never met a lot of people who obsess about the process and didn't either exceed their goal or refine what they thought their result, or refine what they thought the result was. Most of the times, if you set out to have X result, but you're like, yo, let's get obsessed about the goal, the process,
Right.
you usually exceed what you thought you would be able to achieve. That's why it's tough to say, what do you want to do this year? I want to do $1 million. Where did you get that number from?
Right.
You pulled it out of the sky? You saw it on somebody else? Like, where does that number actually come from?
Well, I think a lot of times it's just, it sounds nice. People hear something, right? They're like, oh, $1 million. Oh, $10 million. I want to hit $1 million. I want to hit $10 million. But you don't really you don't even know where to start.
100%.
And look, sometimes that's what it takes for some people to get started and start that process of, learning how or trying new things. But I think a lot of times it's just, it sounds nice. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Incredible.
No, I mean, funny story. Not to make Ruben's head grow too big, because even though that's impossible, he's the self-proclaimed most humble man in the world. One thing that Ruben does incredibly well is his discipline, right? And that's something that is modeled throughout, our whole business. But I've seen this guy, I'm not joking you, eat the same lunch for 6 months straight. And going back to that process, right? When you're obsessed with that process, you're disciplined in it. If there's something that you can go back and look at, okay, I'm not achieving my goal. Well, it's easy when you're obsessed with the process, because everything's been the exact same. You're doing the exact same things. And it's just, okay, we're going to tweak, this one thing, right? Maybe instead of this for lunch, you change it to something else, right? And that helps steer you towards where you need to go.
For sure. And I think, I think most people, it's not exciting, right? And it's not, and I think that's what can dissuade some people, and in my opinion, kind of sometimes makes people stop, whatever goal that is, or end result. It's sometimes the process, it's boring. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, and it's not super exciting, but the last time we met, Jay, we talked about commitment, and that was, I told you this, that was an amazing conversation. But more so, it's the commitment that you make to seeing it through, regardless of what happens. And I know I talk about commitment all the time, but that's because, some things just don't happen unless you're 100% committed. And you're willing to see it through no matter the issues, no matter the excuses.
To that point too, you made me think about something that is so, I would describe him like that too. Super disciplined, locked in from that perspective. So that to me, from knowing him, is his gift. Right? You're tedious. You're very excellence focused. Your ability to get things done, and you're multifaceted. These are gifts. I think my gift is my foresight and my insight. I don't believe humans have.
You have a very special gift.
Really?
You do. Let me tell you which one it is.
Okay.
You understand people, and you obviously, right? And you understand The message. So here's why I say that. There's a lot of times where I'm talking to Jovan and I'm saying stuff, and in my mind it makes zero sense, dude. Yeah. I'm like, man, what am I saying? And then I stop talking. He's like, pauses a little bit. And he's like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, this and this and this, and he explains my message clearer to me than I understood.
Yes,
right.
That's powerful.
That is.
I think that
that
means
is
I'm hired.
that is such a beautiful
That
gift.
means I'm hired.
Yep.
Officially?
Employment
Okay,
offers on
good.
the way.
Let's go.
Yeah.
No, but thank you for that. I don't believe humans have weaknesses, and I know this is a bit disruptive. I believe that we only have gifts and strengths and abilities. I believe our weakness is what happens when our gift, strengths, and abilities are mismanaged. I could usually tell what a person's strength is by understanding what their weakness is and looking at the opposite. Let me explain. If I say, okay, your gift of intentionality, your gift of nuance, excellence, all these different things. If you were to tell me one area that you feel like is a weakness, what would you say?
Organizational.
Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful, right? Specifically, when you think of organization, what do you think about?
I like to work on a bunch of different things at the exact same time.
Perfect,
And
perfect.
yeah.
Say no more. What would you say if you were to say this an area that you're not that strong at, or a weakness that you have? What would
My
you say?
weakness? Pastries. Pastries are my weakness.
dude's never
When
met
you-
a cookie he doesn't love.
But when you eat pastries, why is it your weakness usually? Do you just keep going? Do you want to
Just
go
keep
ham?
going. I just want to keep eating pastries.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, pastries are my weakness, but I would say, dude, I'd say probably the same. Where I want to do a lot of things at the same time, right? And I want to finish them all at the same time, and I want them to be done like that.
So powerful. So for the same way, my gift of insight, which is the ability to see behind the curtain for people. Like I can see, okay, I know what you're trying to say. I know where you're going. My weakness would be patience, okay? Now, if you really think about your weakness, my weakness, they're really just the opposite of our strengths. Because what makes you tedious and multifaceted and all that, when it's not managed, it could come like, okay, I need to be more organized. I'm trying to do way too much.
Yeah.
For you, your strength of discipline is also when it shows up in the other way necessarily where it's not managed. You laugh at pastries, but that's just you having this single track mind of doing something constantly over and over and over again.
Yep.
The weakness could be, what if you're doing something over and over and over again that may not be leading to your true growth and your ability? Yeah. I struggle with patience with people because I can potentially see what people can become. So when you really think about it, we don't have weaknesses. What happens is when our strength is mismanaged, it shows up as a weakness.
Yeah.
So why that's so powerful in life and business and leadership is if you can see what a person is not the best at or struggle with, if you looked at the inverse of that, you can actually see what their strength is, which is pretty powerful if you know how to do it and harness it. Yeah.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always walk away with way too many things than I asked for.
Yeah.
That's Jovan is the human wisdom ATM right there.
Yeah. My teacher thought I was a class clown, and just my gift wasn't fully developed yet. My gift of influencing people.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
To that point, I wonder how many people have not pursued their gift or have given up on their gift
Misinterpreted.
because of
So powerful.
what someone else
So
did or
powerful.
said.
Yeah.
Right.
So powerful. Majority of the world. If I have glasses on and the lens are cracked, and I look at you and you say, man, you see Ruben. Ruben is a cracked dude. Like he just all broken.
Yeah.
You walk away from that interaction
Yep.
thinking that you're broken.
Yeah.
You never think that this man got broken glasses on.
Right.
And so much of that happens in our lives, man. So that's what the rediscovery journey is.
Yeah.
Is to discover who you are outside of the experiences that were negative.
I think to that point, right, is of course how important it is to believe in ourselves and believe in what our purpose is, right? I think everybody's not gotten to where they are without, having some people believe in them as well.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I think can be transformational
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know you shared about your dad.
Yep.
Outside of that, once you, started to really find your purpose and everything like that,
Yep.
who is the person that believed in you outside of you?
Man, I would say first and foremost, I have to give kudos to my wife. She's always been a supporter and a fan of Jovan Glasgow. I pay her to do that. So
Yeah.
she's, my kids, man, my kids speak so highly of me. To me, that is my definition of success.
Yeah.
What do the people closest to me actually say about me?
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that because y'all are here. Ruben, for sure, he wouldn't even know that he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the work that I do, a lot of the belief in the work that I do is not contingent on people's willingness to sit with me, but people's willingness to trust me with their team.
Yeah.
That is, I take that seriously because I'm coming in for a moment and my impact is going to drive what happens past that. But I said those are some people. I mean, I get a chance to do this work at different levels, testimonials, the tears, the hugging, the crying. There's been times that I have gone back to my father's church virtually and taught the leaders there.
Yeah.
And these are people I remember cooking food for me when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
So to just see that now I'm pouring into the people who raised me.
Yeah.
And they're taking notes and writing down and like that
How cool
levels
is that?
me.
Yeah.
Jay, what is or what was that like the first time that you had someone walk up to you in tears
I didn't believe
and
it.
just saying, how much how much your words impacted them or come back and say, "Hey, Jovan, I saw you on stage. Your
Yeah.
message made me realize that I was doing certain things and completely changed my life." What
Yeah.
was that first experience like?
Man, if I can think back to the first time I had that happen, it might have been a lady who had I think she had buried her spouse, if I'm not mistaken, and she said I wasn't going to come to this. I didn't want to be a part of anything positive, all these different things. And I not only saw the tears in her eyes, but I saw myself in that apartment with the lights shut off.
Yeah.
I saw myself with no food. And I'm not fasting because it was a spiritual discipline, but because I didn't have no food to eat. And I got emotional with her because I recognized how much I was carrying in those moments where I wanted to quit and I wanted to give up.
Right.
And from her to somebody saying they were thinking about suicide before hearing me.
Yeah.
They were contemplating walking out on their family, all of these different things. And I've seen how I've been inserted at these inflection points, these points where turning points in people's lives.
Yeah.
Man, it breaks you. If you have that heart to really listen to what people are saying, they're looking at you and saying, had it not been for your yes, man, I was going to leave here to go do something.
Yeah.
That to me, and every time, as I've continued to grow in this space, I've had to honor those moments a lot more and not become so normalized by it.
Right.
So when somebody's sharing with tears down their face, like to stay present, and I don't focus so much on the 10,000 people in the audience. To me, I'm like, who's that one person that I'm here to be a conduit of a message
Right.
that can transform their entire life?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's
powerful, man.
make a brother in here cry.
That's we're in the renovation, we're in the renovation space, multifamily, as you know, but we are driven by a purpose of impacting lives, right? And we are on properties that house, tons of families, right?
Yeah.
We're talking 300 homes, 400 homes, 500 homes, and sometimes the conversation is we're just there renovating a property.
Yeah.
Well, no, we don't. Sure, we're renovating the property, but we don't know what impact that's going to have on. For some people, that's 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 their home.
Yeah.
We're coming in to beautify their home, and for some people, that's all they're ever going to get, right? And you never know. We might be that small change that will, I don't know, have a huge positive impact on some little kid. Now my home's better, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But that's the way I like to see it.
No, those are the most rewarding parts of our world, right? And it's so important never to forget those things. It reminds me of a story that, just recently happened to us. We just recently did a large exterior renovation for a property, and a lot of these people, not only is it their home, but some of them, it's been their home for 20, 25 years, right? This has been their space for a long time, and had a lady that, we were working on their building, and it's, of course, we're in the construction space. It's loud, it's dirty, it's sometimes, right? We do our best to make sure that that's contained, but it is what it is. And for some people, that can be a little bit disturbing and everything, but we finished up that building. She had a brand new, what she walked out and she says, "Hey, I can't thank you guys enough." She got the guys, Gatorades. "You guys made my home beautiful again." And that, oh man, it meant the world. And it's just those small things that I think forgetting those, and it's just on to the next project or whatever it is what really keeps you in the rat race of everything else, right? And staying grounded, grateful for everything is what makes what we do, whether it's monotonous or whether it's, speaking on a stage or, putting a new roof on something, it's what makes it impactful.
Yeah. You guys both use the word home. You didn't use the word house. And I think that's the magnitude of the work that you guys do. And I think that's the similarities between our worlds and maybe why we are aligned. There's a difference between agreement and alignment. We are aligned because ultimately we're building things that will live past us.
Yeah.
And that's what makes life worth living. Because as Denzel said, you can't find a U-Haul behind a hearse. Right? So the questions you got to ask on a daily basis is, what am I building that will outlast me?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the secret to fulfilling life.
Yep.
Yeah. It's powerful, man.
Jay, who do you look up? Who do you find? Who influences you in your space?
Yeah, Ruben Ortiz.
Me too.
In my space, man, I am influenced by a lot of the older guys. Miles Monroe, Dr. Miles Monroe is probably one of the most influential people in my eyes from a communicator perspective. He's from the Bahamas originally. Rest in peace, he passed away. The Zig Ziglars of the world, huge on that. I used to be a TD Jakes, big TD Jakes guy, just because he's just powerful and next level.
When I'll go on, little phases when I'll listen to, I'll go back and listen to Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, stuff like that. Oh man, what's his name? Deep Voice. He was kind of like the father of motivation. Man, I forget his name.
Not Jovan Glasgow, no.
JG. Yep.
That's him.
Anyway, but TD Jakes, man, he hits you different.
Yeah.
Man.
Soul work, brother. Soul work.
It's crazy.
So a lot of that depth, I think, is some of the more common guys. Visu, he's from, I think he's Nigerian, if I'm not mistaken, but strong business-minded guy, great communicator as well. Paul Adefarison, I think I'm saying his last name the right way. Females as well. Mel Robbins, I love what Mel Robbins does, and I love just what she represents and stands for as well. And I'm fascinated by business leaders, a lot of folks who have kind of committed to building great companies. So that and you guys.
Yeah. Well, besides your upcoming book that's coming out, along with that, right?
Yes.
I think anybody that knows you is extremely excited, and it's going to be amazing for new people to be introduced to you, and hopefully, our small world can be introduced a little bit more to Jovan from this episode. But besides that book, right? What is the book that you go back to daily, or not daily, but
Yeah.
that book you've reread 3 times, right?
Yeah, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Powerful book, not many pages, maybe about 50.
Yeah. Short.
That's one of
Small
my
book, but-
favorites for sure. From Poverty to Power.
Tiny but powerful.
Yeah.
Reminds me of somebody.
Poverty to Power is also another one that is pretty strong. I love philosophy, just older books, and I read the Bible, so that's a thing too. But yeah,
Guys, we're about an hour and a half in.
Oh, man.
Before we wrap it up, Jay, what's moving you right now?
yeah. What's moving me right now? Oof, that's a good question. Really, the solving the scalability. Really focus. I don't want to call it a problem. It's not a problem I have. Jovan has to show up.
Right.
And I love that. I want to be able to really focus on building the gift in others.
Yeah.
Right. So that they can continue to do their work in their parts of the world. That's been huge. The second thing is immersion in organizations. So I'm launching a new offering that is high performance coaching for companies on a subscription model. So a lot of what I get is, Jovan, this was great. This one-off was powerful. See you next year. And it bothers me because I want to see the change happen after that moment.
Yeah.
So how do I create an offering that doesn't disrupt the organizational rhythm, but really fits in where the people can get resources, coaching, weekly sessions, everything at scale, and they can log in and do that. So we launched that in June.
Gotcha.
So I'm excited about that.
Nice. And we'll, if it's okay with you, we can put some of
Yeah.
those links in our
That'd be awesome.
social medias and
be
YouTube
awesome.
channel and people how to reach you.
That'd be awesome. And later this year, I'll launch my non-for-profit. It's called Project 122. It's all about helping families.
122, is that
Project
a
122? Yeah.
Why
It's secret
why
code.
that number?
Biblically, there's a scripture, Romans 12:2. It says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." But I really want to. We will build an organization that fills the gap for families going through major unexpected loss.
Gotcha.
And so, loss of a loved one, loss of income, loss of anything, really being able to bridge the gap there. So,
Beautiful.
Project 122.
Reciprocity.
Yeah, there
Give
you
them
go.
back. Yeah, we're we like to do our fair share of that.
There you go. I got one problem that I want to address on camera. I don't have no boots.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
bro.
starting
Boot
to hang
Tuesday.
around.
Boot Tuesday at
The
the
same
office.
crew, and I'm gonna need y'all to give me the plug. Who do I need to get in contact with?
These are
These
Tacovas.
boots?
but-
Those are nice. Man.
Leaving here, we'll go get fitted.
And Jay, dude, I just started wearing boots.
Man, it looks
Everyone
good on
in
you.
the office wears boots. Kevin is like the connoisseur of,
Oh yeah, we'll just take him
boots
to
and-
Kevin and he'll be
You get me
fine.
right?
Yep.
But I've had these for like 4 years. This
Wow.
is probably now the 5th time that I wear them.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to like get
Yeah.
used to wearing them.
Incredible, man. I love the culture.
No,
I'll get me some boots.
that's right. Let's
Jay,
do it.
So, you touched on, what's moving you right now. What do you say to the folks that are, going to listen to this or, run into the show that are facing that struggle right now, where they're in that season of life, where they're, going after their purpose.
Yeah.
And they just, for some reason or another, which is, life, and it's part of part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
Part of the struggle that
Yeah.
are, wanting to give up, wanting to stop. Don't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
I remember making a video once, and the first line said, "Life is in session. The show is in full swing. Regardless of if you're in motion, time is moving. The time is going to pass anyway.
Yeah.
You get to decide if what is happening or what has happened is either going to be the reason for the rest of your life looking the way that thing looked, or if it's going to be the thing that you can look back on and say, had it not been for this thing, I wouldn't be where I am today." Yeah. My father's death can never end with a period. It can only end with a comma. Yeah. And whatever comes after that, I got to choose whether I was going to die in that moment with him, or whether what was going to die was the little boy in me and the man was going to be birthed from that moment.
Spark of life.
We have the power to decide. African proverb says you may have been born looking like your daddy, but you'll die looking like your decisions. It's not the circumstance that matter. It's the decisions you choose to make from that point to say, come heck or high water. And I've never met a great person who didn't have a story of great pain. Never. Can't find them up to this day. But you get to decide in this moment, am I going to allow this thing to break me? Or am I going to use this thing as an opportunity for breakthrough? I wouldn't be sitting here. I went to school for aeronautical engineering.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be sitting here with you had it not been for loss.
Yeah.
But I get to see life on the other side of that.
Right.
Because I said it's going to go one of two ways. I'm either going to be somebody who is constantly defined by this thing, or I'm going to write a book about it.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. With that,
Love it.
don't let your challenges break you.
Nah, use them so that they can help you achieve a breakthrough.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's amazing,
Yeah.
dude. Jay, where can people find you?
Man, I am JovanGlasgow.com, Indigo Alpha Mary, still an aviation guy, JovanGlasgow.com. Same thing for all social media, or just Google me, Jovan Glasgow, or, hang out with Ruben and I'll run into you.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Hang out with Sin.
Awesome.
Do business with Sin and I'll
Let's
run
go.
into you.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Awesome, man. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jay. Appreciate it, dude.
Man.
I know this won't be the last one,
Yeah.
so looking forward to many more, but
Yeah, I love it.
appreciate you being here, dude.
Man, it's good. Good to be here. Great conversation. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.